Welcome back to Weather Weekly News. Subscribe today. This week, I was right about my predictions. First bit of news, there was a Q&A that proved everything I said was right. This Q&A was actually rather short, so I'm just going to read you the whole thing. First question, will we receive M833 APDFS rounds for the M1 Abrams? The answer was no, unless they need it in the future. This is kind of interesting. The M833 round is actually currently in the game files to sit there on standby. Although gathering from what other YouTubers said, the M1 won't need the M833 shell, but perhaps in the future we all will have to wait and see how it acts in combat. The next question, will the Challenger receive new rounds different to the Chieftain Mark 10s, such as the L23A1 or others? The answer was yes, the Challenger will receive new rounds, including the L23A1. I believe in the last dev server that was open this Saturday, the L23A1 round was there. This one I'm really excited about. Do you have plans for the Type 74, Geez, Kai, STC-1, or Type 90 for the Japanese? The answer is yes. We have plans to add a more recent tank for Japan than the Type 74. It may perhaps be ready for 1.79. As I said, I am right. 1.77 is just a prelude to 1.79, because this isn't the only question that refers to perhaps things will be in the next patch, but we'll get to that. Are there other plans for ATGM machines for Japan? We are clarifying any possible options. So while we cannot say the exact version or when, yes, we do not exclude more modern ATGMs for Japan. I'm wondering if they're going to use the Type 89 IFV, or if it's going to be the prototype B78. Regardless, both of those sound very interesting. Armed with autocannons, that'd be kind of cool to see how they perform in-game. Is it possible to see production later variants of the Leopard 2 for Germans? Yes, we plan to add the serial production version of Leopard 2 tanks. The first of them may appear as early as the major update after 1.77, which is 1.79, which is I've been saying. Are the AMX-32 or AMX-40 under consideration for France? Perhaps an early AMX something prototype. France lacks stabilizer tank for rank 6. With the French, it's all a bit more complicated, since they do not actually have them before whatever mass-produced tank with a stabilizer. So you have to choose between experienced and export vehicles, but we are inclined towards the AMX-40 variant. I wonder if we're going to get an AMX-40 or AMX-32 in the next patch, like we're implied all these other vehicles. This one, a rather controversial question, asked if the new top-tier tanks are going to have their battle ratings raised at any time. And the answer said that immediately no, but they do have plans to raise them after a while, because they don't want to put the tanks into a new bracket and have the queue times be crazy for the people who get them early. But on the contrary, do they really have to be 9.0? The amount of people who are going to be trying to grind these is going to be rather high. They're most likely going to use their current 9.0 tanks. Gaijin's decision on this isn't too surprising, because this has happened in the past. It's common behavior for them. The only thing that we could really do is just not play top tier till they change the battle rating. I believe the Leopard 2K's battle rating is actually 8.7, so that drags 7.7 into the mix as well. So I guess I'm gonna have to put off spading the STB. The final question, is the L15A4 or the L15A5 round possible for the Chieftain Mark 10? The answer is yes, this is possible. So to sum it up, British are getting new rounds, top tier is going to continue to be screwed, and 1.79 is going to add a whole lot more new, exciting, and problematic tanks to the game. Unrelated, there are some files found in the dev server of the T64BV, essentially the T64B with explosive reactive armor on it. It's possible that Gaijin initially planned to have this as the release, but decided against it because they realized that the T64B itself was able to stand up to the other tanks without the explosive reactive armor on. And apparently the only shell that really does a whole lot against the T64's armor is the German Kita Fest shell, and then having explosive reactive armor would kind of negate that. So it having the VB modification would make it even OP beyond necessity. As I started earlier, the dev server was open again and they tested some new things. Not too much was changed from the first and the second dev servers, and nothing extremely significant. Some things I'd like to point out: the RU251 now has the hull brake effect, so I guess Gaijin has kind of given up on that cache machine, and it's possible that a new one will come out soon. The IS-6 got buffed. Now its sides are 120 millimeters opposed to what they were 100. People are rather upset about this because a data mine had shown that the armor was actually nerfed, but now it's not nerfed, it's buffed in fact. It's not too significant. Most of the times when I find myself shooting upon these from the side, I go for the turret anyways, and that's unaffected. The area behind the side skirts is still only 100, so you can still pen it there. Other minor effects: apparently bombs now have collision with other planes, so you can bomb planes now. The bombs won't explode, they'll just damage it as if a giant metal thing has hit it, because that's what happens. What I also noticed is that if you fly upside down in the R2Y2, you can actually hit yourself with your own bomb. It's a little weird. The only thing I guess I could say about this is be a bit more careful when chasing down heavy bombers. You never know when they have a surprise for you, regardless of altitude. In the term of devlogs, there was an article about the first order ammo racks and automatic loaders. I already talked about the other thing. It's the ready rack system. It's only for top tier tanks at the moment. They'll probably expand it to all the others later. Do it in waves. There's also a devlog about the new Spitfires and the Italian Spitfire that is premium, and a devlog for the RE2000, Italy's first plane since the patch after they got added. It's about time, I guess I could say. In the terms of boats, there was a list of premiums for trees of these ships. For tier 1 is going to have the PT3, for tier 2 the PT109, which is the current pack that you can buy, and for tier 3 the USS Benyon, an Xbox exclusive, and the USS Horwell, both destroyers, although these are just Fletcher reskins. And for Germany, the S204 Lang, which is the current German boat that you can buy in a pack, and the Z20 Karl Gauster, which I'm pretty sure is also just a reskin of the usual Z20. This is looking pretty interesting. It seems destroyers are going to be tier 3. I'm very curious what tiers 1 and 2 are going to be full of. Though this looks rather exciting, we're finally getting to the CBT. Also something to keep in mind though, if the Fletcher class destroyer is only tier 3, what are we going to have for 4, 5, and 6? Sudden update: right after I pressed the rendered button, I got a little boop on Discord linking to a Reddit thread. Apparently, pre-order DLC is not allowed on the Sony store, so you have to post things within 48 hours of them being available in-game. And that's what happened to the pre-order DLC. So basically what this means is that 1.77 is going to be released tomorrow or Wednesday. And Gaijin has a habit of releasing patches on Tuesdays, so it's very likely to be tomorrow. Although I still count this as Sunday because I haven't gone to bed yet. Anyways, that's all the news for this week. If I missed anything, hit me up in the comments. If you liked this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like the video, don't hit the like button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I make these videos every weekend, typically around Sunday, and I make random videos through the week. Hit that bell icon if you want to be notified whenever I upload anything. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.